Okay, let's start our practice. In yoga, they talk about this concept called prana, and prana can kind of be a catch-all for for anything that's vital in the body. So your blood, your respiration, your lymph, all this could be forms of prana. So they talk about it almost in a generic way, and they get specific as well. But when they talk about prana, they talk about like these channels or circuits in your system in your body, and the idea is that there's energy running up, and some of the alignments that we do in yoga are actually correlated with this what's called myofascia. It's like this woven fiber that lines and runs through all your muscles and sort of interconnects your muscles, and it interconnects your skeleton system, the musculoskeletal system, to the myofascia. And these channels of prana surprisingly sort of look a lot like these interconnected myofascia we have in anatomy. And so we're going to play with that a little bit tonight and see what it does for us. What you're going to do is you're going to take a comfortable seat, and you're going to bring your hand to your low back, right above where your pant line would be. And you can just use like these knuckles here to kind of right at the base. It's your low back, where the spine is. You're going to see, make sure that part of your spine is kind of curving in and up, in and up. And as you lift it in and up, it should bring your chest up a little bit, your throat. It can broaden your collarbone. You just kind of gently push your knuckles in and up into that spine there, and kind of bolsters you a little bit. So you're sitting really upright. If that takes any physical effort to keep that, you need to sit a little higher. The higher you sit, it makes it actually a little bit easier to do that. If you sit really low, just for learning purposes, if you sit on the ground, that instead of it going in, it actually kind of rounds back. And so you could try that if you really wanted to see what I'm talking about here. Anyway, you can think of that base of your spine kind of flowing in, and take a deep breath. And it's almost like there's a fountain sort of feeling coming up near the shoulders and chest. So you're gonna do that a couple times. You're gonna kind of scoop just gently. Don't arch your back, just in and up, bolstering your spine. And take a deep breath, and you broaden out through the chest and collarbones. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, good. And that should feel kind of nice across your chest. And as you add that again, you're going to go in and up with the spine. You're even going to pull your shoulder blades back and turn your palms out. So you're opening these little pockets in the front of your shoulder. You even lift your chin slightly. I'm just going to take a deep breath here. Really nice. Two more like that. Just sort of breathing and staying in an open position. Good. We're just going to keep working on that to start ourselves. So if you've got blocks, you'll put your hands on blocks so you're a little bit higher with your hands than your knees. Come onto your knees, and you're going to tuck your toes so you can press with your big toe. A little bit like we worked on last week. Yeah, so you're going to push with your big toe, and you're going to feel that sensation. Now it might feel a little bit like an arch. You're kind of arching your back, sending energy. The idea is that you're sending energy from your hips up your spine. Open your chest and collarbones and breathe. A couple breaths like that. As you keep that open, you're going to kind of push back into your hips, kind of press your inner thighs back. This is sort of like a fountain or well source. This is kind of a very active position. The toes are tucked, your tail is a little bit lifted, you've got your chest open. You're bringing in some vital energy up the circuit board, up this pranic body. Good. Let's walk it back. So you're on your knees. If you want, you put a blanket under your knees, no problem. You're going to interlock your fingers behind your head, and you're going to pull your elbows and shoulders back. As you pull back, open across your chest. We'll do a couple times where we're kind of pulse. So we're going to exhale, sit back. So hinge at your hips and sit back. And then inhale, press your head back. It's like a weird kind of seesaw. Sit back. Inhale, head back. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, head back. We're creating this pranic pump to bring energy up. 2 more like that. Good. Let's come back down. Hands on those blocks or hands on the floor is no problem. Open your knees nice and wide. You're going to put your left foot out. And you're still going to keep those big toes and the mound of the big toes pressing. You're just going to sit back into your hips. And as you sit back now, try to open your chest. Breathe here. As you open your chest, you can push your hips down into that left leg. So you feel your inner hip open. Breathing here. Push your hips down into that leg. Good. Let's switch sides. Nice and wide. Step the right foot out. Grab with the toes, big toe, and you're going to push your hips down into that leg. Keep the chest open today. Good. Opening the hip. Excellent. Let's go back. Keep the toes tucked. You're going to hover your knees about 1 foot off the ground. 1 foot off the ground. So it's like halfway on our way to down dog. Halfway on our way to down dog. And now try to rest your belly muscles on your thighs. And then you can push back. So you can do this at the that works Billy too. But if it starts to get too high, you go to the wall and just keep your knees bent. And then start to sink your hips back, keeping your belly close to your thighs. And try to drop your low back into the pose like a hammock. So your spine from your starting at your hips feels like a hammock. And breathe. Open your throat. And you can feel this prana flowing up from your hips, up into your chest, and then out into your hands. Good. Let's come down to our knees. Let's come back to our mats. And you'll lower the hands down off the blocks. We're going to do a little baby push-up with our tail slightly in the air. So you're going to back your knees up, bend and squeeze your shoulders, baby push-up, and push back up 1. Let's try that again. Nice and good, nice and steady. Tail up 2. One more time. Keep the tail up. Hips a little forward in front of the knees. 3. Excellent. And then push back, sit back, tail up high as you sit back into your child's pose. Breathing here. One long deep breath, nice and smooth, no effort. Good. Walk your hands back. Let's come up into that kneeling shape again like we were in earlier. Good. You're going to stretch your arms out this time in a V-shaped vector. V-shaped vector. You're going to stretch your palms, the skin of your bones and hands apart. Opening and spreading the finger and palm. Breathe here. And you're going to pull your shoulders back and head back. Now on the exhale, you're going to sit your hips back. Inhale, pull your shoulders back, head back. Same exercise, just a different arm arrangement. Sit back. Inhale, head back. Exhale, hips back. Inhale, head back. Exhale, sit back. Good. Let's place our hands back down on the mat. This time you can go right to the floor and really spread your palm and then grip with your finger pads. Breathe here. Keep those toes tucked so you can press on the mat with your big toes and broaden across your collarbones. Good. Keep that hammock-like shape in your spine. Let's lift our knees about a foot off the ground. You can go even further this time. Starting to press down through the leg muscles. Long, deep breath, stretching the body away from the hands, which are like glue traps on the mat. Inhale, top of a push-up. Legs can be straight this time, or you can keep those knees down, no problem. Let's hold the pose. Good. Drop the knees down if they're not already. Let's lower all the way down to our mat. Press the knees down a little bit today and curl up with your chest, cobra pose. Breathe here. Good. Curl up all the way, straight arms if possible. And then downward facing dog. Tippy toe, let's walk the feet in a little bit. Sit back onto your heels. Get those blocks ready if you want. You're going to push down your blocks and stretch your chest forward, flat back pose. Knees are bent today. Heels are light on the earth. Sit back so that you can open your hands onto your knees or out wide like wings. And then inhale, come all the way up. We're going to curl the fingers, hook the fingers behind the head and tilt the body over to your left. Bending your knees as you do it. Inhale up. Curl the body over to your right. Bending your knees as you do it. Inhale back up. Stretch your arms up high to the sky. Good. Sit your hips back. You can feel that your hips are moving back in space behind your feet. And you're just going to hinge about a quarter of the way. So look how far. I haven't gone very far to my full. But now if I check my low back, I've got this fountain spout in my low back, that little bit of curve in my low back to support my practice and keep my chest open and my back body strong. I'm just going to hold this pose. I don't need my arms. They're just hanging. And you're feeling the hips and the low back and the core all sort of stabilize you. There should be no strain across your mid-back. Just kind of hang here for a moment. Breathing. Long, deep breaths. Okay, if you feel really stable, you can go ahead and hinge another, maybe so now you're just a third of the way, but definitely not a half. We're staying up. That looks good. That looks good. You should feel stable, solid legs, solid hips, low back, very supportive. Good. Now, drape the upper body. You can hang over. Let your hands come to the blocks or the floor. And let's step our right leg back. Pushing down through that back foot. Inhale, rise up, hands to the knee, and then you're going to reach up like you're holding onto a bar with your hands. You're holding onto a bar. Yeah, take a deep breath in and stretch your side body long. You can like start to straighten the legs some, and then exhale, bend both knees, and imagine that you're pulling the bar down. Inhale, straighten both knees, or get closer to that. Balls of the feet. Exhale, pull down as you bend your knees. Good. You want to feel like there's actual resistance. So you're imagining that there's some resistance as you pull. One more time, pull down. It's called an isometric stretch, an isometric toning. Good. Let's place our hands on the blocks. Step forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands to your heart. Inhale, arms up to the sky, look up to the sky. Spread your palms and elbows straight. And then exhale, shift your weight, hang your arms. You're going to shift your weight so your hips are behind your heels. And you're going to do that quarter of the way. Open your back body into the pose. So you're toning that back like we just worked on. You're gonna hang a little further, building a lot of core strength, a lot of stabilizers at the core of the hips and the spine. And this is like your wellspring where the prana can rise up from your base. This is how the theory goes, and it circulates vitality through the rest of your system. Good. Let's drape our spine over. You're going to step the other leg back, which I believe is your left now. And you're going to walk your body up standing. And so our legs will kind of straighten together and our legs will kind of bend together. Inhale, arms up. We don't lock them out today. And then exhale, pull down and bend, keeping the chest open. Good. Inhale up. Pull down and bend. Keep flowing with your breath. A couple more rounds. Good. Take your hands to the blocks. Step forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands to your heart. Good. Open your arms out like airplane wings or bird wings, like lark wings. You're going to shift your weight over to your left leg and float the right just a little bit for a moment. You're going to bring the leg forward, and then you're going to step it back. Comfortable distance. Both knees are a little bent today, and you're going to shift your pelvis back and do that quarter hinge. So it's like that same pose when the legs are together, except now the legs are staggered. So you're getting a little more pull, a little more awareness, sensation in your front hamstring. I'm not holding on to anything today. You want to just let the arms hang. We keep those wings. And you shift the pelvis back so you feel a stretch in the center of the hamstring muscle. So that's the left leg, below the hip, and above the knee. Right in the middle of the back of your upper leg. That's the hamstring. That's where we're stretching. Just soaring lower. If you find those blocks, you get low enough to put your fingertips on the blocks. Then you push from your belly, push down onto your front thigh to stretch that hamstring more fully. Good. Bend your front knee. Inhale, lift the arms up. And then balance, step that leg forward. And relax the pose. Very nice. Good sequence. Second side. Arms out, wings. Inhale, lift up the left leg. One motion, step it comfortable distance back. It's a little more of an athletic stance. It's okay to have a shorter stance where the knees have a spring-like awareness. See, I can kind of lose my balance and easily just kind of catch myself. That's what we're looking for here. So plant the feet, that the balls of the feet are strong, heels are soft and supple. You're going to pull the hips back without locking out the knee. You can use wings or hanging monkey arms. You're going to hinge at your hips and drive the hips back like there's a crease right at the hip joint. Then once you kind of feel that the low back is supported, engaged like we worked on, push energy down into that thigh bone to feel that hamstring stretch more deeply. Good. So the front needs to be a little straighter, I think, Jim. So it's not straight, but it's not bent like a lunge pose. It's you want to stabilize the muscle. You can find the blocks with your hands and push energy down into that hamstring stretch. Breathe here. Looks good, everyone. Okay, now you're going to bend the front knee more deeply than the back knee. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring the front knee forward. And lower it down. Good, let's do that whole sequence again without as long of a hold. Inhale, arms up. Let's bring up the right knee. Open your wings, step back. Soar out about a quarter of the way. Both legs are kind of straight. Breathe. You can drop the hands down. Push your belly down into that hamstring as you bow a little bit deeper. Bend the front knee. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, knee forward, wings. And back to our center. Good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, wings. Step back. Other leg. It's the left one. Soaring wings, about a quarter bend. Breathing. Good. Drop it deeper. You can round back slightly, but push your belly down into your hamstring. Good. Bend the front knee. Inhale up. And then exhale, wings. Relax. Awesome job. One more time, just circling through. Now that we're familiar, inhale. Wings. Step back. Inhale. Hinge a little bit. Release the pose. Exhale. Push with the belly into the hip, into the thigh. Inhale, bend and come up. Exhale, step forward and release. Good. Inhale, up. Exhale, knee up. Inhale, step back. Exhale, halfway hinge, quarter-way hinge, sorry. Exhale, full pose, pressing onto that hamstring stretch. Inhale, bend and rise. Exhale, step forward and release. Good. Put your right hand on your hip, put your left hand up, and tip the water out. Sorry, that was too easy. Just reach the arm up like this, and you're gonna kind of push on your hip, slide your hips, and keep your knees bent today, and open that arm across. You're getting a nice side body stretch. Breathe into that. Inhale, come up. Other hand on the hip. Push the hips, keep the knees a little bent. Tip over. Good. Inhale, back up, swoop your arms up. Exhale, bow forward, put your hands on those blocks. Step back, crouching cat, take a down dog, but the knees are bent, your tail is lifted. Inhale, come forward into your plank. Exhale, lower down onto your knees. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot to the left edge of your mat. Put your right toes on the right edge of your mat and rise up. Warrior two, nice and wide stance, little bend in the knees. Warrior two. Good, pull the back arm back. Pull the front arm forward. Those stabilizing muscles around your spine activating. Lean back, reach forward. Good, place the hands down, let's step back, crouching cat. Push the right foot forward, right edge, left toes, left edge. Inhale, rise up, nice wide surfer-like stance. Warrior two. Pull back, try to keep the legs nice and steady. Forward, back, forward, just hold it a moment. Good, drop the hands down, step it back. Come on down to your knees. Inhale, let's work like we started our class, scooping the spine in. Flowing energy up the spine. out across our collarbones. Energy flows up into our crown. Breathing here in this big open vital shape. And now we kind of make a little egg shape. So we go up to the top of our crown. Now we start to sink back. You can let your spine round a little bit and come down onto your elbows or forearms, and like you're turning into an egg. So you're opening your back and kind of sheltering your front. Release the back of your neck. This is the counter action. Breathe here. Good, nice little break. Before we get back into it, let's come back to tabletop and refine our opening shape. Knees a little wider today, toes tucked. You're going to inhale, stretch your left arm up, twisting the spine. Keep it in the air, but thread it under. Turn the neck, inhale, open. Exhale, thread it under. Turn the skull, inhale, open. Exhale, under. And then replace. Let's go to the other side. Inhale, right arm up. Twisting the spine, exhale, thread. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread. Back to center. Open your chest. Downward facing dog. Let's walk it forward a little bit. Plant your feet. Inhale, rise up, stretch high to the sky. Push through the balls of the feet as you look up into the sky. Breathe here, stretching the side body and the core body nice and long. Good. Arms out like wings. Shift your weight over into your left leg. Inhale, bring the right up. Let's step it back into that surfer stance again, that warrior two, a little bit more open today. Inhale, lift up your front arm. And then exhale, just sort of hinge. Hinge at the left hip crease as you kind of straighten both legs. Do that 2 times. Inhale, swing. And bend the front knee. And then exhale, straighten the front leg, hinge. So you feel a little stretch along that inner leg, inner thigh. Inhale, swing. And then hinge. Good. Rest your hand on the thigh or the shin and start to bend your front knee. I'm sorry. Keep your front leg where it is. Bend your back knee. Back knee. If you can, lift your front toes. Good. Inhale, come back up. Let's take a big old step to the front of our mat. Inhale, shift the weight over. Want to balance for a moment, go right ahead, left leg, and then slide it back, warrior two. We're going to cycle in. Inhale, swoop up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, swoop. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, swoop. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, swoop. Breathing and moving like this is like a pump for the prana. It cycles and gets the energy moving deeper up the channels, opening up the myofascia. Hinge and hold this time. And you go deeper into whatever variation of the pose is working for you. Bend the back knee. Go a little deeper if you like this way. Good. Inhale, swoop it up. And step all the way back to the front of our mat. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge and bow. Inhale, look forward. Get on our tippy toes. Get on our fingertips. Hold the pose here. And plant the heels, hang the head. Inhale, tippy toes and fingertips. Stretching the back body strong. And then exhale, heels plant, head hangs. Last round. Good. Step feet back. You're going to hover your knees about 6 inches off the ground. Stabilize your core, kind of lift the glutes up. Getting that energy flowing up your spine. Reaching your crown forward away from your hips. Good. Come on down to our knees. Let the body hang like a hammock here. Then breathe. Good, and slowly, however you want, you're going to lower down onto your bellies and bend your knees so your feet are in the air. With your feet in the air, you're just going to swing them, kind of turning your hips a little bit. They feel like windshield wipers. And turn your head in the same direction that your feet go a couple more times. And release the legs. Inhale, fold your shoulder blades down the back, lifting your chest, scooping your chest. Building the back body strength. Breathe and press your hands now down into the mat and a little bit forward. They don't move, you're just pressing them forward. Get a muscular tone of stabilization out, strengthen the back body. You're going to reach your hands forward and grab the edge of your mat. Push down with the heel of your hand and curl up for cobra. Breathe. Bend your elbows and pull your shoulder blades away from your ears. Good. Stretch out your right arm straight out in front of you and roll onto your right side. When you roll onto your right side, bend your left knee and hold your left ankle with your left hand. You can just hang here or kick the foot and hand back a little bit, whatever kind of feels good for your body. Try to bring that energy of your spine, though, into the body, in and up. If it's available, you're going to roll back onto your belly. Let your hip touch the ground before the knee. And then you'll go ahead and release. Inhale, stretch your left arm out in front. Roll onto your left side. And if it's available, you'll hold the left ankle with the left hand. And this might be the pose. Some of you might kick that foot away from the body. And if it's available, you kind of feel that energy of the spine moving just in, just a little bit, and then up an upward flow of prana. The spine in yogic anatomy is called the Sushumna, your core channel. There's a subtle channel that overlays with your spine, and it's called Sushumna. And the prana flows up and down this superhighway of your body, much like how we understand our nervous system, sending and receiving sensation and signals. You can, you're gonna roll back, hip touches before knee if possible, and release. So this superhighway has all these different, in the pranic world, they actually think of like rivers and of flowing energy, similar to how our nerves connect into our spinal column, into a bigger river. Press back into that downward dog. Knees can stay a little bent today. Keep the hips back and stretch your heart forward, letting that spine drop into the body. Tone the muscles of your back. Good. Turn both feet to your left and lift your left arm high into the sky. You can keep your knees bent today if you want. Now let's come back. Turn both feet to the right. Knees bent, lift the right arm to the sky. Breathe. Doing great. Back. Let's drop on down to our knees again. Walk our hands back. And come upright. Hands on your hips this time. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a moment to feel that energy. If you want, you can take your thumbs to your back, kind of like we did earlier, but with both hands. You kind of, or you can take the little fist and kind of emphasize this flow, this river-like flow of energy at the base of your spine, the low part of your back, and it flows up towards the mid-back. And this allows you to safely open across your chest, open the throat. Good. Shift your weight into your right leg. Put your left foot in front. You're going to step on a diagonal. You got plenty of space. You're going to keep your hands on your hips a little bit. Open your chest so you're looking out over the horizon. Tuck your back toes so you're pressing with the balls of your feet. And then arch. Arch the spine in and up and open the front body, squeezing those shoulders back. Breathe here. Good. If you've got blocks, go ahead and find them and put your hands on. You're going to sit back and peel your toes up. So you're on your front heel. The front heel is down. The front leg is a little bent. With the front knee bent, you can tone the whole hamstring. That's the under part of your leg between the knee and the hip. That hamstring, you're going to press down with your heel and sit back. So that hamstring, you feel the stretch right in the center of the muscle. Not near the bottom, not near the top. Good. Plant that foot and let's step it on back. Excellent. You're going to walk your hands back up, hands on the hips. Let's take a moment just to be here. Feel that spine flowing in and up. Energy rising up across the chest. Big, full, deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you're going to shift your weight. Put the right foot on the right edge. With the ball of the foot of both feet, you're going to press down to help open the body, arch, a little bit of an arch shape feeling here in the back muscles. Looks good, everyone. Keep breathing. If you'd like, you're going to take the blocks and you'll sit back, peel the toes back. Knife will lengthen the distance. I do a little bit. Press the heel down so that you're stretching the belly of the hamstring, not the edges of the hamstring. Good. Step the back foot forward. You're gonna have your feet as wide as your mat. They can be turned out a little bit and have your toes just cover, the pinky toe kind of covers the edge of your mat. Bend your knees, lift your heels up. You're gonna do a squat pose, but like we've worked on today, where the low back is in, the chest is broad, and you're gonna turn your palms out like this. Deep squat here. The heels can hover just a little bit. Excellent. So good for our posture. A lot of sitting. This kind of movement really can help that. Low back gets tight, hip flexors get tight. You're going to press down on the earth with your hands and the balls of your feet. Stretch your chest forward. When we sit, we keep our hip flexors hinged all the time and our low back rounding. Chronically, they say the prana gets stagnant or dormant, almost like a swamp. Like they use a lot of metaphor relating to nature. And this is about that vital energy. Rise up, lift up, stretch your palms and hands up. Big breath in, and then hands to heart center. Put the left hand on the head and let it drop over to the left. Breathe. Feel there's energy running down that whole side of the neck. So the central highway is called Sushumna Yoga. And they also think of you that you have two side channels connecting your hips to shoulders on each side, two side channels. They're called Ida and Pingala. There's a whole subtle anatomy in yoga. Subtle anatomy, it's called. Inhale back up. Let's go to the other side. Now you're opening up the left side channel. Inhale back up and relax. We're going to do a little bit of balancing. So if you want to go to the wall, keep the wall in front of you for this first one. That last side stretch calm my nervous system for sure. Shift into your right foot. Bring up your left. And then hook the ankle. You have the wall, you put both fingertips on the wall. You're going to push on the wall today, actually. As you push on the wall, you want to push your hips into the crease of your hips. Push your hips back. To keep the chest open and collarbones lifting. And then you can use that low back thing we've worked on all class to kind of keep your chest open as you sit back a little deeper. Keep the weight in the ball of your standing leg. Big toe of the standing leg active. Inhale back up. Let's change sides. Push on the wall if you want. Help sink into the back of your hips. Crease the hips. Standing leg, rooted to the ball of the big toe and the big toe itself. Build your lower back strength. Breathe. Looks good, everyone. Inhale back up. Go ahead and put a block right in front of both feet, please. Block right on a high setting even.
Put your right foot down on the ground. Put your left toe and big toe on the block like you're going to take a step up. You'll have the wall in front of you if you need it for balance. You're going to even bend your standing leg and now push. Don't make the block wobble, right? Don't lose your balance, please. But push down and put your arms up in a V. You're just going to build your loading strength. This is your loading maneuver, right? When you're going to jump or sprint, this is your loading strength. We push down from our pelvis, hips go back, push your belly down into your thighs, and the thighs push down to the ball of the foot. So good for having to get up off the ground. This kind of strength maneuver. Back needs to be strong. Open up. And come up. And release. Good. Other side. So if we're just standing and put your foot on like a step, if you've got something more firm than a block, or you have firm blocks, I think that is better. Like even a couple books or something could might be a little safer. Work on our loading strength. So we bend and push. We push our hips back, we push our belly muscles down into our thighs, push our thighs down into the ball and big toe. Arms up, and just do a little bit of loading like you were going to try to jump into the air here. Just practice that feeling of feeling athletic and engaged in those muscles, getting that deep, heavy, big muscles moving with blood. And when we come up, you're going to straighten the front back leg, lift up, and release. Good. So that final lift, where we do another round, that might start to look a little bit like a back bend. Okay. Look like a back bend. Right foot down, left foot on the block. Your hips, your back should feel strong and loose at the same time at this stage of the class. Okay, so we're going to sink, both knees bend, hips hinge, so our belly energy can push on the thighs push on the ball and big toe mound. Arms up, and we load a couple times. We're going to try to think about like trying to jump up and catch something. Good, sit back, hold it, and inhale, rise up. And release, good job. Whew. Last round. Surprisingly harder than it looks, isn't it? Load the energy, bend the knees, hinge and press into the thighs. Thighs press into the ball of the foot. Do a couple of loads here, pressing that strong, athletic, rooted energy. Sit down deep, breathe. And then rise up. And relax. Good. Take a moment, just kind of shake your shoulders, your neck out, see how it feels. My hips got loose and even fully express the rotation just from that building of strength and blood flowing through those joints. You're going to take a wider stance now. The feet will be turned out about 45 degrees. Have your blocks with you. So you can straighten and bend your knees with ease. You're not overly extended or too narrow. Let's just breathe here a moment. You can hold the blocks or kind of put them down in front for when you're ready. You take your hands, you're going to turn them open like this. Palms face up, elbows near your sides. And as you bend your knees, you'll take your thumbs back, opening that back body strength, toning the spine. Good. As you pull your thumbs back, as you bend your knees, hover the heel and press into the ball of the foot. 2 more deep breaths here. Take the shoulder a little more back, and then take the hips a little more back. We're going to rock this motion 2 more times. Shoulders back, hips back, shoulders back, hips back. Last one. Good. Hands down on the blocks. You can turn your feet a little wider, but keep your knees bent. Arch your spine. Good. Now start to push down through the balls of your feet. Slow as you can. We don't want to lock out our knee. Slowly try to straighten your legs by pushing through the balls of the feet. They should feel like the muscles are more engaged. You can't just straighten your knees. You have to really stretch into the muscle to straighten the leg. Breathing here. And your knees, inhale, come up. And step back to the front of your mats. Good work. Move to mountain pose at the front of your mat. Close your eyes for a moment. And just try to see your structural anatomy. Focus on the skeleton first. Let's start with the pelvis. We've been concentrating on the pelvis and low back today. That the low back is like a fern stem. It's sprouting. It's not really straight. It's not really rounded. It's got a little bit of an arch. It goes into your body. Fully upright human. And then your rib cage is like a dandelion poof. It rests on top of that spine. And your head rests on top of that. Now, from your pelvis, feel the leg bones and notice the knee joint. You can even rock in your knee joint. There's a place where you bend the knee and you got to use your muscles too much. And there's a place where you can lock out your knee and you're just in your joint. Try to float your knees with the right amount of bend so that it's supported. The joint is supported. For me to do that, I actually have to hover my heels a little bit. It puts me on the balls of my feet, just a little more than my heel. You can notice that the knees have the most spaciousness when you're a little light on your heel. Breathe here. Open your arms a little bit, maybe like you're floating. See if this shape, this buoyant, spring-like shape, like a little kid, like the way a little kid kind of runs into the world with their gaze slightly upward, because the world's above them at this point. It doesn't feel a little bit more buoyant and youthful to have this kind of posture. This is the idea behind prana, like a fountain rises, fountain of vitality. It's good, everyone. Beautiful. And just start to keep that inner feeling, that inner shape, but now stand like a normal person, right? Like let your feet come down, let your shoulders relax. Don't, be looking over everyone's head, right? Your physical outer appearance kind of looks like you're just standing up. It might be a little more upright than usual, but you're just standing up. But internally, at the core, there is still that vital buoyancy. When you're ready, come down to your knees. Toes tucked today. You can sit back onto a block. So you're stretching the sole of the foot a little bit, maybe this way. Breathe here. And make sure your foot's comfortable. If that's not sustainable, then you can go ahead and point your toes. That's fine too. gonna try what's called Nadi Shodhana, just to kind of play with our theme of this subtle energy, Nadi Shodhana, what you're gonna do is you're gonna close, you're gonna use your ring and your pinky and your thumb. Your ring and your pinky and your thumb. I'm gonna actually set to the screen so you can see a little more clearly. Traditionally, what you use here is the ring and the pinky and the thumb. So these two fingers, they kind of curl down. Okay, so this is your gesture. Okay, and you'll cover one nose with the thumb, one nostril with the thumb, and you'll cover the other with the ring. Okay, and you're alternating how you're breathing. Called alternate nostril breathing. Nice and creative name they've got there. And in alternate nostril breathing, what they say you're doing is that you're moving the prana, you're alternating it between the left and right channels, like we talked about earlier, down the side of your spine. Let's do a couple rounds and just see if we notice any effects. Okay, the left hand can rest in your lap. Okay, cover your right. Inhale through the left. Cover the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Cover the right. Exhale through the left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Pause. Exhale right. Inhale right. Pause. Exhale left. Inhale left. Pause. Exhale right. Inhale right. Pause. Exhale left. Inhale both. Pause. Exhale both. Pause. And return to normal breathing. Notice how you feel. Slowly come forward. and slide your right leg back and your left foot across for pigeon pose. Push your groins back a little bit. You can do an upright pigeon or bow forward, whatever feels good to your body. Keep breathing long and slow now. Change sides. Roll onto that hip and swing your leg around. Come down onto your back. With your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, push the mound of the big toe and the big toe down. And push the shoulders and head down. So your spine starts to arch and lift off the mat. Feel the energy rise up the inner legs, rise up the core of your spine, into your neck and into your skull. And then relax. Press down through the big toe and the big toe mound. Press down through the head and shoulders. Hover so the spine starts to arch off the mat. And then relax. Bend and hold your left knee. Relax. Second side. Relax. Step your left ankle over the right leg and twist your hips to the right. Back. Bend and take your right ankle over the left knee and twist your legs to the left.
to center. Feet together, open your knees. Slide your legs out on the mat so your toes point up in the air. Bring your elbows in against your sides and point your hands in the air so that you feel like you got robot arms, T-Rex arms. Push your elbows and shoulders down into the mat so your rib cage lifts and floats a little bit. Kind of bring your shoulder blades in and away from your ears. Relax that effort. Let your toes fall open. Let your arms fall by their sides. And rest your body. Stretch your body. Press up to a comfortable seat. Happy holidays. Miss y'all for a couple weeks. But namaste. Thanks for practicing.